So, hello everybody, welcome. So let's start. Participants are coming in. 1800, welcome to ThingForward and our ioRaptor review sprint webinar. So we're in the second sprint, already in the third sprint actually, but we want to look at the improvements and results of the second sprint. And this is the according webinar for this. If you had the time to attend the last review webinar, that was a bit longer because we had Ivan Kravets from Platform.io to talk about Platform.io and introduce to that software. So that took a bit long. And this sprint review is going to be a bit shorter because it's mainly about the implementation improvements that we did during the last 3 weeks. So sit back, relax. It'll probably take 20 to 25 minutes. As always, this webinar is recorded. So as was the last one. So if you missed the last one, you can always go to our website, ThingForward.io/ioRaptor, and look at it. Slides are there, and videos are on YouTube and linked there, so you can check that stuff out, as well as the recording of this webinar I can share with others if you like. So let's get started. What's on the menu for today? Last time we introduced our starters package, that is all the tools and modules that come with the initial version of ioRaptor. And I want to do a quick review about that in case you missed it and point you to the wiki and more information. And then the second part is essentially what happened since our last webinar, since 11th of January. And I have a small demo for that to show you a bit of the ioRaptor functionality. And then, next steps, what's coming up next. So let's start with the review of the starters package. This is the overview just of the slides. If you recall from last webinar, we went through each of the modules that we have in our ioRaptor desktop app. That ranges from IDEs, development environments, toolchain, code management, embedded platform management, continuous integration, unit tests, and what have you. And we wanted to have a tool within each category, at least one tool to try out. And we did. And most of this, essentially everything of these that we've chosen in the starters package is available as open source licenses. And if you want to look at the individual tools again, you can do so because we have put them up into our ioRaptor wiki. That is the hosted version at Atlassian. This is the exact URL, but you don't have to remember all of that, just ioRaptor.atlassian.net. And we can just jump into there. Yeah, whoop. And this is here. So it's just ioRaptor Atlassian.net. And then you see the wiki. This is the overview page with the blog and some links and us. And if you go to pages, they're already opened here, close them. There's a module overview that is what we think is behind each of these modules and why they are part of an agile IoT toolchain. And the second link is the tools overview. And the slides overview that we just had is inside this PDF. It's just the 10 or 12 slides, I don't know how many, introducing the tools of the starters package, but they're also here. You can look at each individually, a bit of content, what they are, where you can look at more introduction to them. So that's just a short reminder for you that we are preparing these pages here, as well as the webinars and meetings. And we also linked slides and the video content here. So you can take a look at that. Yeah, one thing I would like to remind you of is one post within the blog. As announced last webinar, we're giving away IoT starter kits. These are the starter kits that we've been using throughout the last year within our trainings, and we have 10 of them to give away for free. Each one includes an ESP 8266 developer board. That's the one we're using from Node MCU. They're programmed, for example, in C and compatible to the Arduino framework. And it also includes Grove Kit, a base shield to connect Node MCU to the base shield and then to Grove Kit sensors. And we included a bunch of them in the starters kit, like LED, a button, a rotary temperature sensor, and the like, and some connection cables. So if you would like to have one of these starter kits, don't hesitate to send us a mail or give us a ping at Twitter. We're giving away 10 of them for free, and combine these with the ioRaptor and the tools within, you can start programming for embedded if you like. Just let us know. Okay, so back to the slides. As always, if you have questions, don't hesitate to just post them either in the chat below or just turn on your audio and ask, no problem. Okay, so improvements since kickoff and since the last webinar. This is an image that is resembles our architecture. You know it from the past webinar, but I'm going through the different components there. First, we have the ioRaptor desktop app, which is a cross-platform app, for the developer's desktop. And you can browse packages and tools there and gain access to information, which itself is stored within a registry. This is a public registry. So it downloads stuff, the desktop app downloads stuff from the registry. And there's an API backend to connect to for mainly user management and stuff, which itself might talk to third-party tool vendors to exchange registration information. And then we are starting to build a community website, which is sort of closely coupled to this API backend. It's a web app as well with a web UI, and it also combines what we already have as main information base and document base, so to say. That's our wiki, ioRaptor Atlassian.net, and a Slack channel, tf-ioRaptorslack.com, for just exchanging stuff and asking questions and stuff. So what happened since last webinar? First, we've been mainly working on the desktop app, and most of that was focused on UI improvements. As you know, this is a cross-platform compiled desktop app, and then you have a lot of issues about making stuff look identically on all platforms, on Windows and Linux and Mac. And this ranges from the size of the buttons and ends at the behavior of desktop elements. So there was a lot of stuff to do there on UI improvements. And we added login functionality. That is, you have to authenticate yourself to the ioRaptor service. Why is that? First, we might issue branded versions of the ioRaptor that could be pre-packaged with tool chains for different purposes. And therefore, we would like to know what kind of brand we shall deliver to you. So that is typically bound to a registration and to some form of user management. And the second is, of course, maybe you want to come back later and choose your personal stack that you once installed and reinstall it again on some other development station. And that is what the login is for. So that has been implemented, and we started work on cross-platform installers. Mainly because nowadays people typically do not wish to download executable files directly from the internet and just run them. So there should be some form of installer in between where you can tell that installer, okay, what you want to install and where. So this is just about installing the ioRaptor desktop apps. And this is cross-platform from Qt. We're using Qt for the app and the installers, both of them. So yeah, that was work done there. We set up the registry. We've put all the tools from the starters package into the registry. The registry itself is mainly a bunch of JSON files. You can look at them at GitHub. And yeah, by putting the starters package tool within the registry, we're making them available to the end user of the desktop app. We created the first version of the API and web backend. So that's a wholesale web service. And as of now, it mainly contains user management. That is signing up, signing in. You forgot your password, no problem. Unregister from the service and log in and stuff. So that was quite a bit of work since, yeah, we had set up everything from scratch, and that ends with virtual machines in the cloud where stuff runs on. Yeah, but it's working in a good prototype way. We shall see on later. And we planned our first integration with a third-party tool vendor, and that is with Platform.io. So that is not yet implemented, but planned. Please remind the distinction there. What you can expect is that if you choose Platform.io via ioRaptor to download and install, you can automatically pass on the registration to Platform.io and, for example, get the pro features that are only available for registered users, but you don't have to register that because that's what ioRaptor is doing for you if you wish so. So that is planned but not yet implemented, but we want to have this ready by end of this month. Yeah. So these are improvements since last webinar, and let's just take a look at that, how that works out. So I already started the ioRaptor, and it now starts with a login page. Right now with some dummy data yet, but you have to log in. And where do you get that login data from? So that's of course a web UI that allows for, I need to sign out, that allows for registration. So that is, please note, this is currently a test system, not yet publicly available. Well, yeah, it is publicly available, but it's a test system, so we might clean out data at any time. You can choose to test this, but this is still testing stage. So what you can do here is the typical stuff: sign up, and if you forgot your password, you get an email with registration stuff. So I can log in because I do have a registered account there. Sign in, you get personal account data, typical stuff. And what the most important thing is as of now, the downloads page, because there you can find the current releases. There's still dummy content because we didn't release anything. We're still in some sort of alpha stage. But you can expect by mid-February that you can download the ioRaptor and register here and download the ioRaptor from here. This is typical download stage with a bunch of cross-platform installers for your platform, and SHA sums and GPG signatures for SHA sums, so that you can make sure that you downloaded the correct content. So there's not yet much to see here. What still to come is some form of documentation pages of how to use ioRaptor, what to do after installing and checking signatures and stuff. So let's go back and just hit log in, still with our dummy data. So that's what it looks like. I'm sure I've already shown at least some slides with some sample screenshots during the last webinar, but this is the real tool as it is of now. So what we have here are the individual modules that group around the ioRaptor logo with continuous integration, tool management, and these are all the modules that are part of the starters package. And we can go into one of these packages. And what you can see here is the different tools that we have in here. For example, for toolchain management, it's Platform.io with small description and links to the home pages respective, or the pages with documentation. This opens up on the browser here. Every time I hit here, it opens up a browser. Yes, typical functionality. So that's for documentation and tutorials, and if available, for example, forums or chats and stuff. So I can browse products here, for example, within the toolchain management with the ARM Embed client, Platform.io, Qt Creator, and ioTA, which is the ARM Embed client for older versions. And you can choose to, when double clicking, you can choose to select this tool, and this walks into your toolchain here. So let's say I want to have Platform.io as a toolchain management. I can go back and go over all the modules here. For example, continuous integration. Oh yeah, Jenkins. Why not? I need a continuous integration server to compile, build, and test. And yeah, flash my firmware. Why not? Let's take this as well. And so the story goes around automated testing with stuff like Catch2, CPP check, Valgrind, and Unity, and so on. And last time I mentioned the communicative user interface that we are planning, and we're in the stage of having the first step towards that goal. That is, type keywords here. So I can type in some form of keywords, and it checks which tools within these module categories match my search here. It's just simple tags. Let's search for example, Atom. That's my favorite IDE, let's say. So I'm picking this as well. Or I want to have something. Oh, I need to use Git within my project, for example. And then, oh yeah, that's Git is source code management. And I would like to have, oh yeah, GitLab. And add this to my shopping basket as well. So this is the really early version, because it just works by comparing tags that are associated to these tools. But in future versions, we want to have something such as natural language processing, so that the ioRaptor app understands what you're asking. For example, what would I need to program ARM devices on Windows? And then it might choose the right packages for the right platform if you give it, for example, Windows and stuff. Yeah, that's roughly in the making. So it shows where I did make selections, and I can yet throw out stuff if I do not want. What did I? Jenkins. If I don't want stuff, I can remove the Jenkins from here. And in the end, I'm hitting this button, and it starts to download all the tools, because we maintain the right links to the recent version of all these tools. And it takes some time due to my limited bandwidth that we have here, but don't worry. We don't have to wait till all of this downloads. So it downloads it to your users download folder. And in the end, it's asking you whether you want to automatically install it. And this works cross-platform, because we plan to offer install scripts for each platform, so that you get sort of a safe installation and a sane default of all the packages that you've chosen. Yeah, so that's roughly the current state of ioRaptor development. We have some other tools around. Now, it's not really tools, but behind this is, it's not available during download. And it's behind here is a a list of packages that you have already chosen to download and install because it's in your user profile. And this is the main place where you can, for example, pass on registration information to third-party vendors and, for example, receive authentication credentials for individual tools, and that is tracked here. Sort of flickering, that's what I meant with UI fiddling on different platforms. So it's still a prototyping phase. But that's the current state. So we have the web app where you can register, download, and going to find information about how to use the ioRaptor desktop app. And then, the app itself. So that is the current state. So let's go back to the slides. We already had that. That was the demo. So what's up as the next steps for this and the upcoming sprint? Of course, we want to have the first installable release with cross-platform installers ready. They're in the making right now, and we want to have them finished by end of next week. Yes. And that means for us a lot of testing, downloading and installation of status package components of the Raptor itself. And it's a lot of testing involved. We need the production readiness for our backends. Of course, there's still some work to be done there. And the upcoming sprint, we're going to look at the first prototype implementation of our vendor integration API, and that we're doing with the API of Platform.io. And as already mentioned, mid of February, we want to go live with the web portal and be open for registration, for registrations and downloads of ioRaptor. So that's the plan for the upcoming week. Interesting thing, we're planning a small survey because we have been setting up this status package. But of course, this is not the truth because there's not a single truth when it comes to developer tools and the development tool chain. That can't be. So that's just, the starter package is just a selection that we made because we feel that these are modern products and these are used by developers, and they make up a good combination and they fit together. But we also would like to know what's your favorite tool chain and what tools you would like to see within ioRaptor and why. And we're planning to set up a survey for this. That still takes a day or two, but if you have ideas or give us your opinion or feedback, please don't hesitate. We're really happy about feedback from your side. If you can spare the minute, please send them to info@ThingForward.io and tell us what your tool chain is, what you are using as tools for doing embedded development and why you choose them. So yes, this is the end of that sprint review. Let's look at the watch. 24 minutes. So just in time. As I said, this is going to be a short sprint review just to give you a feeling of the kind of improvements that we made. Any questions up to now? If so, feel free to ask. We're happy to have your feedback. Some comments in the chat, looking good. Thank you. Thanks a lot. If you have questions, feel free to ask. info@ThingForward. Let us know about your favorite tool chain, and we'll keep you informed about the next steps. And the upcoming webinar will be in 3 weeks, I think. Sprint time, 3 weeks. And then we have mid of February, and hopefully we have gone live by then and have something to give you to try out. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Bye bye.